This is a movie announced in 2014, originally planned to be released in 2018, delayed multiple times through a pandemic and some legal issues, but it's finally out. Let's talk about The Flash. Barry Allen uses his super speed to change the past, but his attempt to save his family creates a world without superheroes, forcing him to race for his life in order to save the future. The movie stars Ezra Miller, Michael Keaton, Sasha Calle, and Michael Shannon. Before we get into it, I do want to mention that this will be a spoiler-free video until the end. There will be a spoiler section for all of those juicy, amazing spoilery bits. If you want to hear me talk about that stuff, that will be at the end of the video. Don't worry, I'll give you plenty of warning before we get there. But I highly recommend, if you haven't seen the movie, don't watch that part of the video, because I'm gonna talk about all the things that I didn't even know were coming. And also, just as another warning, the comment section will probably have spoilers in that too. And I love getting comments. I love talking about that stuff. But if you haven't seen the movie, just beware, because there probably will be some spoilery stuff in the comment section as well. So yeah, tread carefully. The first question you might be asking is, Rob, why did you even go watch this movie? Why did you support this movie with the Ezra Miller trouble and blah, blah, blah? Look, here's a couple of different reasons. Number one, I've been a fan of The Flash for a long time. And I wanted to see this movie, The Flash movie, way before any of that trouble even started. I've also been a fan of the character of The Flash for a very, very long time. I mean, does anyone remember this? Remember that series that was on, I think, CBS? I really enjoyed it. I like The Flash, the character of The Flash. And I'll also say that I have enjoyed Ezra Miller's take on The Flash up to this point. But regardless of what happens with Ezra Miller's already been paid to be in this movie, right? And so really, more than anything, I feel like I want to support the filmmakers and the crew, that worked so hard on this movie. Hollywood is a what have you done for me lately kind of business. And, all of that crew, all of the rest of the cast, Andy Muschietti, the director, the success of this movie might jeopardize their careers through no fault of their own. So yeah, I wanted to watch this movie anyway, but I also want to support them as well. Now, again, regardless of all of that, the fact of the matter is, Ezra Miller was absolutely great in this movie. Literally carried the movie, like playing two parts. That's not easy. And also, Ezra Miller's performance made me tear up a couple of times. That was one of the things that was really surprising about the movie, was it was funnier than I thought it was going to be, and it was also more moving than I thought it was going to be. With Michael Keaton, you can tell that he's having a great time in this role, and I really enjoyed watching him sort of navigate the character of Bruce Wayne and Batman again. There's some really fun stuff with him. I'll also say that Sasha Calle, or Calle, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce her name, but her and Michael Shannon, they do fine with what they're given, but I kind of wish that both of them were in the movie more. So don't expect a whole lot from the two of them. Look, the movie is it's just a ton of fun. It really is a ton of fun. The action, the interplay between the different characters, the Barry versus Barry stuff. I mean, I just had a really, really good time. But man, the CG, wow. The CG was a bit distracting at times. Like, to the point where it was pulling me out of the movie. With this whole Barry versus Barry thing, I'm kind of confused as to why there was CG done with the two of those characters, right? There's basically older Barry and younger Barry, and I don't understand why they felt the need to do all the CG. The only thing that I can think of is that they either ran out of time or they decided to change things up in post, which I guess, that's kind of the way things go, especially when you have a movie like this that's taken so long to come out. There's probably a lot of changes that have been made throughout the process. I'll also say that it's a little bit long, a little bit drawn out, to the point where I was kind of feeling the length of the movie. I think it's 2 hours and 24 minutes. It was a little bit on the longer side, but it's still a lot of fun on its own merits. Like outside of all the drama, right? I think this is a fun movie, and I think it's definitely worth a watch. If you want to hear a little different perspective, my wife, who was not really a huge fan of Ezra Miller, like at all, like regardless of allegations and all that, just the person, she doesn't really care, right? So she said, you know what, Ezra Miller was actually really funny and did a lot better than I thought. But honestly, she's seen a lot of multiverse movies, she has. And she kind of felt like, look, I'd probably give it like a 2.5 out of 4 stars. She goes, it's not bad at all, but it was really too long for her. Now my rating is a 3.25 out of 4 stars, which is like above recommended. It's like, hey, you should go give it a shot if you're a fan of the DC universe. Okay, so now it's spoiler time. Okay, spoiler time. You haven't seen the movie? This is your time to bow out, because I'm going to give away some of the biggest things in the movie. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Okay, holy crap, the multiverse. It was really, really, I mean, I was shocked to see the, not just, oh, are you a fan of the Snyderverse? Oh, are you a fan of the Tim Burton verse, whatever, the earlier Batman stuff? The breadth of the DC movies on display here, or even the DC characters on display. Seeing George Reeves, seeing Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that was okay. And then of course the Nicolas Cage fighting the giant spider. What? I can't believe that made it in. And it was so cool to see that. And of course, if you don't know that story, there's a Kevin Smith story where he kind of tells his version of writing the script. And then this whole thing with John Peters, the producer, and how he was like, he wanted it to be like, Brainiac needs to fight a polar bear, because he's the fiercest killer. They're the fiercest killer in the animal kingdom. And then at the end, Superman needs to fight a giant spider because they're the fiercest killer in the bug kingdom or what. And look, that's a really, really funny story. If you haven't seen that, I don't even know where to find that other than like I have the DVDs. But anyway, it was crazy to see all that stuff. It was really like, wow, this is not just, are you a fan of like Ezra Miller or The Flash or even just the Snyderverse? It's everything. And that was so freaking cool to see. Now, does anyone remember this shot, right? This was a set photo that was leaked, and I can only think of 2 things here, because this shot was not in the movie. Either they shot this with Michael Keaton in case they couldn't get who they wanted to be in that part, or it was deliberately leaked to throw people like me off the scent. Because look, when that car pulled up, I was expecting Michael Keaton. And what did I get? George freaking Clooney? I did not see that coming, like, at all. There was actually a lady in, like, behind me that found that hilarious, was like seriously cracking up, and it made all of us laugh because she was getting such a kick out of it. It was really, really fun. It was a really, really fun experience seeing this movie for the first time, opening night, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully you have seen The Flash if you're listening to this part, because we just talked about some crazy spoilers. But anyway, what did you think of it? Like, are you on my wavelength? I mean, did you enjoy it as much as I did? Or are you kind of like my wife and you're just like, I mean, hey, at least it's over now. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I don't know what to say. I really, really enjoyed it. Like I said, tears at certain parts. I didn't expect that. Really, really good. So let's talk about it down in the comment section below. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.